The election happens. Trump wins. Now, you and I had a conversation after Trump won. And this is sort of the basis of this interview. How do you feel about Trump winning?
You know, look. It's a simple question, but the answer is complicated, right? Because obviously everyone is anti-Trump right now, right?
Right. He has like the lowest approval rating of any president. I think it's like 30% or something.
Right. The reason that I felt like Trump winning wasn't all that bad is because I'm looking at it from, we as Americans get so complacent, okay? No matter how you want to look at it, the system is broken. To me, I look at him as he's just a reset. Meaning that everyone that's going to come after him, it's not going to take the white male who live in middle America vote for granted. It's not going to take the black man who live in the urban communities being shot at votes for granted. Not going to take minorities votes for granted. Not going to take women. When we say that we have issues, you have to pay attention. Where I think prior to him, they felt like, well, you got to pick between the best of the two evils. Think about this. There's 350 million people living in this country. You go to most developed countries, they have more than two-party system. A country that has 350 million people of different nationality, ethnicity, only have two parties to represent 350?
Well, there are more parties.
So I'm about to say something.
Okay.
As of recently, there's been more parties, but the media doesn't cover them.
Right.
They don't even allow them to come on stage to debate.
Right.
So technically, we don't have more than two parties. We have two major parties. And basically, the system says, we don't give a fuck how you feel. These are the two. You're going to have to pick one of the two. Right. So I felt like people was like, fuck you to the system. You're going to allow us to pick and you're going to give us these choices? Okay, this is what we're going to do. So I feel like, because you got to remember something. When you look at when have been the best moments for us to create, it's always been when our backs are against the wall. During the Great Depression, during World War I, II. How did hip hop come about? You gotta remember, Civil Rights Bill was signed in the 60s, right? So all of a sudden, blacks, 1968, after that, blacks and whites can now be in one public area together. Prior to that, it was color. You were in one section, whites, somewhere else. You had different fountains, you had everything, right? After the Civil Rights Movement, now we became as one, right? So now check this out. That's why when you notice going to the 70s, everything was beautiful. Black exploitation, the movies, we were good. We could do whatever we want to, right? So we got complacent. Here come Ronald Reagan. One of his speeches he gave during his inauguration, he says, the cream will rise to the top. Well, what's at the bottom of the cream? The cream is white, we know that. What's at the bottom, right? The 80s, depending on who you speak to most people, those are hard moments for people. I don't give a fuck who you were. Only the very rich were cool in the 80s. But guess what? Guess what came out of that? The birth of hip hop, right? That's when innovation, creation come, when your backs are against the wall, right? So then here come this guy after the 80s, playing saxophone, say he loves black people. We like, yo, we even anointed him as the first black president.
Right.
Right? Bill Clinton comes in the 90s. Everything's beautiful now. Hip hop is at the very top right now. People thought it was a fad in the 80s. Now it's really succeeding, right? Boom. Everybody's making money now. Everybody have jobs. Everybody complacent. Guess what happens? We voted in for Bush. Cause we were like, we good. I got money, I got cars, I got houses. What was the effect of that? The subprime mortgage.
Right.
That's technically the side effect of that. Because we weren't paying attention.
Right. Then the recession comes.
Then the recession comes.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. People still felt a little bit lax. And now Trump. What's going to happen? I think people are going to create more. We're going to pay attention. People are going to be, because now you got to think to yourself. I think more people are talking about politics now than ever before.
100%.
More people are now concerned. More people are aware. The fear is, whoa. I'm going to tell you something crazy. Let me ask you a question. When you look at, I'm going to tell you when I say the system is broken. Look at the incident that happened with Donald Sterling, right? Which I think is pure bullshit. I don't believe he was a racist. And even if he was, the way they took him out is trash. Because this guy is having a private conversation within the confinement of his home with his side piece. She illegally taped him. And then they forced him out from his team and forced him to sell. Now, let me ask you a question. There's only one black man out of the 30 teams that owns a team.
Michael Jordan.
And the only reason he has the team is because he's Michael Jordan. Right. They had to give him that.
And it's like the worst team.
And it's the worst team. It's never going to win a fucking championship. You can't tell me Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, wouldn't love to have a team that he owns win a championship. But we all know it's going to be, the New York Knicks is going to win a championship before his team wins a championship. Okay?
Probably.
Now, let me ask you a question. So you telling me 28 other team owners never said anything racist about black people? Because listen, he was being recorded. At least he didn't use the N-word. He could have been like, man, I don't want these niggas. He didn't say that. And you got to remember, he was born between World War I and World War II. So he could have easily been like, I don't want you bring these niggas to my house. He said, I don't want you to bring black people. He's basically saying this. If I'm supporting your lifestyle, you're driving Ferraris, Bentleys, you living in a house, and I'm paying for it, don't fucking bring players to my house that used to play for me or could have played for me. I'm a boss. Don't play me the fuck out like that. That's what I think he was basically saying. Basically. So the fact that they took him out by having a private conversation, people made it seem like it was the worst thing on the planet. But I don't see nobody taking out these cops. Like this one cop who clearly, there's a woman driving a car, her boyfriend's on the passenger side, her child's in the back, he gets pulled over, he has no weapon, the cop shot him, she's taping the shit, he doesn't even give a fuck, she's being recorded, he's being recorded. What happens to the guy? He got suspended with pay. So tell me which is worse. Is that not a broken system?
Yeah.
That's my point.
So there's actual talk about Trump's impeachment. I think it was Maxine Waters said get ready for impeachment. Mm-hmm. Do you realistically think that Donald Trump will get impeached when you see all the connections with Russia and everything else like that?
You know, I don't have enough information and I don't know enough to say one way or the other, to be quite honest with you. There's a lot of signs that point to that, but
we don't know.
We don't know. I don't know.
How do you feel about having Twitter fingers as a president? To the point where he's actually even...
See, that's where I'm a little bit concerned.
He's dissing Snoop Dogg.
Right. That's where
you know what I mean? Like,
that's where I'm a little bit concerned because, look, I know we're in a new age, but as a president, I think he could rein that back. Because the wrong Twitter. We could wake up one morning, this guy sends the wrong Twitter. And I'm not talking about dissing Snoop or dissing some celebrity.
Well, he tweeted about North Korea recently.
That's what I'm saying. He can send the wrong tweet about something, and it can be, like he can say, I don't know why these guys wants me to go sit down and speak to these aliens. I don't feel like, he could just be joking saying that and turn this whole planet upside down, right? That's the thing, because I don't think I think he does understand, but maybe he doesn't understand, or maybe he doesn't care that what you say as a president holds a lot of weight.
Right.
Like he could say, we're going to go to war with these aliens in Arizona that they got them held captive underneath some. I mean, everybody going to be looting all over the place.
Well, no, I mean, he recently said, I mean, it's funny because we had interviewed this rapper named 22 Savage.
He finna tweet, let's go to war at North Korea, man. Real talk. That's the type of shit he'll do, like real talk.
A month later, Trump is tweeting, North Korea is behaving very badly. And like a child, like a small child. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I'm not even saying that. Something in that context. Like it could be, I don't want to put any suggestion of what it can be, because I don't want it to actually become that. But he can say something crazy and literally this whole planet can stop.
Yeah.
Like literally. I don't think people understand how real that is. You know, and now I have to imagine that he probably knows this, and maybe he's just kind of like playing with that line, that line was like the point of no return. Maybe he's just right near that line, you know? It's North Korea, so I can say this, you know? It might be a strategy. Here's what I would say. Although there's a madness to his tactics, but when you think about like what he did when he made the call to Taiwan, the president of Taiwan, it's never been done before in the history since we recognize this one China policy, right? Yo, he caught their attention. Now, I don't know if I would have done it like that, but he got them Chinese on their heels like, whoa, right? When you look at, for example, now North Korea, we always knew they were a threat. Listen, I was in North Korea.
Right.
I've been in North Korea. Now, I'm not gonna say I felt unsafe in North Korea, but that place is no joke. And they've been a threat to us for a long time, and obviously our allies, which is South Korea and Japan. So he is now, something's going to give now. Where before it's just been talks. Hey, you know, let's calm down. You know, they doing whatever they doing. They ratcheting up the rhetorics, and his tactics is kind of like interesting if you really think about it. Because the issue now is, this is a real threat. We have to deal with it. I don't know. But what do I think about him in the Twitter? I think he could lay back off of that, my personal opinion.
If you got, I mean, you're heavily involved in politics. Mm-hmm. If you got a call to meet with Donald Trump, would you meet with him?
Yeah.
You would? Right, because over here there's a photo of you with Obama.
Right.
In the White House.
He's the president.
He's the president.
Yeah.
Because a lot of black celebrities that met with Trump got a lot of backlash, especially Steve Harvey.
Right, but I think, listen.
And then Kanye.
Right, but see, I remember something. If I was to meet with Donald Trump, I'm not going to meet with him for a photo op. I'm going to, if he was to call me, at the end of the day, he's still my president. Whether I like him or not, he's still my president. I can't just like someone. I can't just want to deal with someone because I like him or I know him. You know, he's still the leader. Maybe I can resonate with him. I don't know. And plus, it would have to be, what is this meeting about? Are we going to address issues that I'm concerned about, which is education, you know, poverty in the urban community. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, police brutality. This is real issues that, you know, my people in my community are dealing with. Jobs. You know, your administration. You know, people. How come there aren't that many black people in your administration? Not that they had to, but I'm just saying, because one could make the argument there weren't that many black people in the Obama administration. Let's keep that shit real.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying to you? So, but I would like to understand, Obama still had more black people than he did, but I'm just saying, I would like to understand what's your purpose or your reasoning for wanting to meet with me.
So with the right reason, you would meet with him.
Yeah, but like I said, if I was to meet with Trump, people probably wouldn't know. It's not. I'm not gonna go take a photo up. Like I'm not.
Right, you're
gonna
not gonna be
do
in
that.
Trump Tower lobby.
Like I'm not.
with
No,
Zara
man.
Rock.
I'm about this is serious issues. Like what can we do? How can I help? How can I help? What people have to understand is this. You made a lot of people don't like, and I'm not gonna lie to you. He said a lot of incendiary remarks. He said a lot of things that people could take it as being racist. He said a lot of crazy things. He's done a lot of crazy things. We're not going, let's call it what it is. But people got to understand that I'm a team player. Going back to when we talked about the Fugees. Even if I'm not happy with you, because you got a lot of people who, if they are part of a team, they will fucking throw the game just because they don't like that team player. Well, how the fuck does that help me by him being not a good president? Obviously, we want him to be a good, because it affects all of us at the end of the day, right? So I'm gonna want to see him fail because I don't like him? That doesn't make, how the fuck am I an American by wanting to see that? That doesn't make any sense. So if I can help him to become a better president, which I don't think I can, but I'm just saying, if I could,
Yeah.
if I was given that opportunity, listen, Playboy, let me explain something to you. I know you're the president. I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but I'm just saying, black people ain't really feeling you like this. So I'm gonna tell you what you would have to do, not just for black people, but for a lot of Americans, at least half the country. Because you gotta remember, there's another half of the country that rocks with him. You gotta remember something. There was a lot of people that helped him become president. And it wasn't just white males. Like, you got to keep that in mind.
Right.
So there's a lot of people. Now, maybe I've spoken to a lot of people that voted for him who felt like, I'm starting to kind of like wish I didn't. I'm saying people I've spoken to, because I think people kind of like understood, even though his messaging wasn't delivered in a way that where our palate is palatable for us. But I think people understood, like, yes, we do have an immigration problem. Yes, companies are leaving this country and creating jobs overseas. Yes, we do have an education problem. Yes, we are somewhat the laughing stock of the world when we used to be the one that lead. Yes, why do we always have to stick our noses in other people's business when we have our own issues here? Yes, the system is fucked up. Yes, there's a tax problem. So his points and the issue he was addressing all resonated with us. Is the way he was delivering it that was like, whoa. Okay, you know what I'm saying?